As we entered the new year, us racing fans had a lot to look forward to. NASCAR kicking things off in the LA Coliseum. Once again, a phenomenal race in 22, same in 23, and then the Daytona 500, the Great American Race. Everyone wants to win that race. And then later on in May, NASCAR is going to try out North Wilkesboro as an all-star race. Raced there in the past. It's been many years since then. And then on the 4th of July weekend, they're going to go out to Chicago and race on a street course. A lot of new things NASCAR is testing out in its 75th anniversary season. And there's one thing that kind of put a little damper on it all, and that is a big-time driver of the sport, Kevin Harvick, announcing that he's going to retire from racing full-time. And instead, he is going to hang his helmet up and fire suit up and join the Fox Sports booth and to call the races alongside Clint Boyer and Mike Joy. He is going to do a fantastic job with them. He's done it in the past on part-times in Xfinity and Truck Series races. He's going to do good. Mark my word. But today, I am here not to talk about that. I am here today to talk about 4 potential drivers that are going to be in line to replace Kevin Harvick in the 4-car for the 2024 season. And what better way to kick it off than some obvious picks? And then next thing you know, we're going to work through some long shots. There's a lot to talk about here today, so kick back and relax and enjoy. On to the intro we go.
Hey, it's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. here at Kroger, and you're watching William Blackwell on YouTube.
Starting off with things, we're going to have Cole Custer. Cole Custer has been in NASCAR for quite a long time. He raced in trucks, he raced in Xfinity, and he worked his way up to Cup. But now he's in Xfinity. So let's take a step back and talk about why he's back in Xfinity. Well, he raced Xfinity in the past, was very successful, picked up many wins, and Tony Stewart and Gene Haas thought it would have been a good idea to move him up to Cup at the time when they were trying to replace Daniel Suarez. They brought him in the 41 car in 2020, and right off the bat, his rookie season, he picked up a win in Kentucky. And that win was kind of earned. He had to beat Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, and Ryan Blaney. It was an overtime shootout, but still though, a win is a win, and Cole Custer got it. And he entered the playoffs that year. Doesn't really, blow anyone away, but he had a win in his rookie year, so that's a big deal. You don't see that very often. Fast forward to 2021, terrible season. 2022, terrible season. And at the end of 2022, Tony Stewart was looking elsewhere at another driver. And that driver was Ryan Preece, while Gene Haas was committed to Cole Custer. They were going back and forth, and they eventually decided it would be best to keep Custer, but move him to Xfinity, to their own team, and promote Ryan Preece, their reserve driver, to full-time in the 41 car. So Cole Custer is now back in Xfinity full-time, and I believe he's going to gain a lot of confidence, and he's going to pick up many wins. And will that be enough to get him a ride in Stewart Haas in 2024? Time will tell, but that is one of the 4 candidates I got. The second one is going to be Riley Herbst. Riley Herbst has been racing in NASCAR for quite a while now. Raced in trucks part-time, and he went up to Xfinity early on in his career. It was a big jump for him. He raced for Joe Gibbs Racing in 2020, had a couple of good runs. The one I remember the most was Auto Club, where he had a chance to win that race that year, but he came home close. And eventually, he parted ways with Joe Gibbs Racing, and he moved to Stewart Haas Racing after Chase Briscoe got the promotion to go to Cup Racing in 2021. Riley Herbst since then has been up and down, but I believe in 2023, he is going to blow away and pick up a couple of wins. And if he can do this, I believe he's going to be in the running for a seat in the 4-car in 2024 in the Cup Series. So you can never count out Riley Herbst. And the big positive thing about him is that he brings sponsorship money. So Riley Herbst has it all, and he can very well be the driver of the number 4 car in the 2024 season. The third driver that I am going to talk about is Zane Smith. Zane Smith is going full-time in the Truck Series right now with a Ford back team, Front Row Motorsports. Zane Smith has many wins in the Truck Series, and on top of that all, he has a 2022 Truck Series championship, which is a big deal. And he also has a couple of Xfinity starts, and he has 2 Cup starts, and they're both pretty good, top 25s. And for the machinery he's got, That's a pretty big deal. And I believe if he can go out there and win the truck championship this year in 2023, and with his a couple of cup starts be successful and Xfinity starts successful, I'm getting words tied up here. If he can do all that very well, I believe he's going to be in the running for that 4 car. I believe if he can go out there and show Tony Stewart and Gene Haas that he can go out there week in and week out and perform, they will have no issue at all spending their own money to sponsor him week in and week out in that 4 car. Because they're looking for a driver that can take Stewart Haas Racing to the next level once Harvick retires. Because think about it. Kevin Harvick has been with the team since 2014. And possibly with him retiring, you're going to have Eric Almirola, who's, let's assume for the heck of the video, he's staying. He's going to be the oldest tenured driver with the team, and he's going to have a lot of pressure on his back. So you're going to need to bring someone in that's kind of going to help him out and help the team move forward in a positive direction, not backwards. And I believe that can possibly happen with Cole Custer or Riley Herbst, because I believe it's just going to be like a desperate move to add them, being honest with you. And if they do that, they're going to go backwards. But if they add Zane Smith, I believe it's going to be a good move. And time will tell, but we'll see there. The 4th and final one I got is Harrison Burton. Harrison Burton has raced in NASCAR for many years. Started out with Toyota in the truck series with Kyle Busch in the 18 car. Had a couple of successful runs week in and week out. I wasn't very impressed with him at all. But when he moved to Xfinity, something just clicked all of a sudden. He was very competitive, going for wins. And that was something he didn't do very often in the truck series. And shortly after Xfinity Series success, he got the call up the Cup. And that call up the Cup came very early to him when he arrived to the 2022 Daytona 500. Early on in the race, had a blowover. He flipped, and he was all right. But that was his early NASCAR welcome to the sport move, I guess you can say. In the NFL, they have your NFL hit, your first hit, and they call it welcome to the NFL. But that for him was welcome to NASCAR. He was rushed, in my opinion, had a terrible 2022 season. 2023, so far in the Daytona 500, was all right. The results didn't look good, but he was up front most of the day. I believe if he can keep that going forward, he does not have to make the playoffs, but if he can stay inside the top 20 in points and a couple of top 10s and 5s at the end of the year, he can be very much in the running for that 4 car as anyone else. And one thing that can help him out possibly is that his PR team is run by Kevin Harvick. And Kevin Harvick is the driver, so he can possibly recommend him. And also, Riley Herbst is and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is. So we'll see how things go there, but we got a surprise for you. And that surprise is a long shot driver. And that long shot driver is going to be Ryan Blaney. If Tony Stewart feels, and then Gene Haas feels like they got to go out there and get a veteran of the sport to carry Stewart Haas Racing to the next level, they would not hesitate at all to go to Ryan Blaney. Because Ryan Blaney has been in the sport since, I think it's 2015, where he turned some heads at a Talladega top 3 finish. And I believe if they need him or want him, they will really go after him. He can bring home some wins, solid driver, consistent driver, I guess you can say, top 10s week in and week out. And I believe that's a long shot driver. But there you go, a long shot, nothing more than that. But looking back of all the drivers I mentioned, the one most likely to replace Kevin Harvick next year, I believe is going to be Cole Custer. But if it were my decision, and my decision only, I would choose Zane Smith. I think Zane Smith is a little bit more bright. His future is more bright than Cole Custer. I guess you can say his ceiling's a lot higher, not more bright. His ceiling's a lot higher. But there you go. There's my full predictions on who replaces Kevin Harvick in that 4 car for the 2024 season. Please like and subscribe.